Executive Director of National Cannabis Industry Association. We are the only national trade association representing medical cannabis businesses across the country. We're here today because, unfortunately, the Obama administration's Department of Justice is carrying out an unauthorized war on medical marijuana that not only violates the President's stated policies and campaign promises in 2008, but also directly conflicts with Attorney General Holder's testimony before Congress last month, in which he reassured the House Judiciary Committee that the DOJ was following the Ogden memo and only targeting medical cannabis providers out of compliance with state law, but which we know here in Oakland especially that this could not be further from the truth. Here in Oakland alone, the Justice Department has targeted two legitimate businesses, Harborside Health Center and Oaksterdam University, where we are today, that by every account have maintained absolute compliance with not only state law, but also local regulations, both permitted operations here in Oakland. This is through outrage from across the community. We're hearing from not only elected officials, but businesses here along in the vicinity of the Fox Theater are flying green flags today in solidarity with their neighbors in the medical cannabis industry. Virtually every locally owned business in this neighborhood is flying a green flag, and that shows a real powerful message that we are part of the community here, and we are accepted by not only public officials, but the business community. These federal actions to undermine medical marijuana laws have not only been limited to California, but in Colorado, the U.S. Attorney has threatened the closure of at least 45 medical cannabis businesses that were all recognized by the state, all either licensed businesses or had applications on file to receive their licenses. Really shockingly, in Washington, Rhode Island, and Arizona in the last year, U.S. attorneys have threatened state employees who would carry out their duties to regulate medical cannabis. So when they're saying they're not going after those who aren't in compliance with state law, that's baloney. Because how could a state employee be violating state law by carrying out their duties? It's nonsense. The DOJ is taking actions inconsistent with the 2008 campaign promise, but also it's not just the DOJ. The Department of Treasury is pressuring banks to close the accounts of legitimate medical marijuana providers. The IRS is using an obscure section of the tax code to try to drive medical cannabis providers out of business by not allowing them to take ordinary business deductions. The ATF has denied state legal medical marijuana patients the right to carry firearms. And all of this is happening while the National Institute of Drug Abuse continues to obstruct legitimate research into medical cannabis in this country. These continuing coordinated efforts to undermine state law not only harms hundreds of thousands of patients who are seeking alternative health care, but has already killed thousands of legitimate jobs in this country. It's hurting struggling local economies like here in Oakland that rely on the millions in tax revenue that this industry provides. And so we're standing here today while President Obama is in town asking for our money. We're standing here to ask him to keep his promise on medical marijuana, hold the Department of Justice and the other parts of his administration accountable, and call off this unauthorized war on medical cannabis. Not just providers here in California, but like I said, 16 other states across the country and the District of Columbia. So thank you very much.
Aaron Smith, AARON, SMITH, of the National Cannabis Industry Association. And next, the man you've been waiting for, the person who is most recently under the insanity. I would like to welcome the one and only Mr. Steve D'Angelo, Executive Director of Harborside Health Center.
Thanks very much. Can you all hear me? We are heartened by the thousands and thousands messages of support that have been pouring into Harborside Collective from all over the world. We would like to say thanks on behalf of our over 100,000 patients to everybody who has sent us these messages, the researchers and the scientists, the legal and the medical professionals, the elected officials from the local, state, and federal levels, from the media and blogosphere, and even to our secret supporters in the Department of Justice. We say thank you for all the support that you've shown the Harborside Health Center and our patients at this time. We're gathered here in Oakland today with a very simple ask, and that is for President Obama to make sure that the actions of the U.S. attorneys in California and in the rest of the country are consistent with the administration policy as articulated by Attorney General Holder in sworn testimony before the U.S. Congress just a few weeks ago. Attorney General Holder said that his organization would only target medical cannabis individuals and organizations that were acting out of compliance with state law. We believe that that is not happening today. Harborside Health Center is not only 100% compliant with all local regulations and the state law, we have set the gold standard for the distribution of medical cannabis. The best way for the President to ensure that the actions of the U.S. attorneys are consistent with administration policy is to have an immediate freeze on all such enforcement actions against medical cannabis organizations until the highest levels of the Department of Justice can review those actions and determine that they are consistent with administration policy not to target organizations that are in compliance with state law. Cannabis people have had to learn how to turn tragedy into triumph, and we are going to do it this time again. This is a watershed moment for our movement. We know that if the U.S. attorneys are allowed to come after an organization like Harborside, no other dispensaries are going to be safe anywhere in the country. It's time for us now to stand, and I'm very happy to see that we all are standing. We've sent a message, are sending a message to the President today that I believe will be too loud and too powerful for him to ignore. Thank you.
And D'Angelo, capital D-E, capital A-N-G-E-L-O. Next, a gentleman that you're all very familiar with, the California Director for Americans for Safe Access, to discuss the impact on patients. That's what this is really all about. Please help me welcome Don Duncan.
Thank you, Dale. Good afternoon. My name is Don Duncan, D-O-N, last name D-U-N-C-A-N. I'm the California Director of Americans for Safe Access. We're the nation's leading medical cannabis patients advocacy organization, and I'm very proud to stand here today in solidarity with Harborside Health Center here at Oakland University, two victims of the federal crackdown on medical cannabis. And in fact, this federal crackdown is perhaps the broadest and most serious that we've seen since California voters approved medical cannabis back in 1996. We're seeing paramilitary-style raids, like we saw right here at Oakland University. We're seeing intimidation in the financial sector, denial of legitimate financial services, IRS audits, denial of gun ownership rights, a very broad attack on medical cannabis. And so it's no surprise that we see property owners of prominent, respectable facilities like Harborside Health Center become the latest victims in a federal attack on medical cannabis. And let's be clear about what's happening. An attack on a patient's access is an attack on a medical cannabis patient. You cannot separate the two. To say that we're only attacking businesses and not people is a false presentation. An attack on the access of patients is an attack on the patients themselves. And we must always remember, as these stories are played out in the media and in the courts, and in the court of public opinion especially, that it is legal patients and they're qualified primary caregivers who comprise our collectives and cooperatives. Harborside Health Center may be a very big organization, but it's not just an organization on paper. It's an organization of people, of patients and primary caregivers who are going to suffer. The large majority of medical cannabis patients in the state of California, indeed the large majority here in the city of Oakland, rely on collectives and cooperatives like Harborside Health Center for the medicine they need to treat the symptoms of cancer, HIV/AIDS, multiple sclerosis, chronic pain, and other very serious conditions. And when we shut down patients' access, we are attacking patients. And so I hope this administration knows in this election year that when they attack the access patients need, whether that be an attack through the back door through banking services in the IRS, an attack through the front door like what happened here at Oaksterdam University, or an attack on the property owners like is happening with Harborside Health Center. These are all attacks on medical cannabis patients, and those are the people that the voters of California sought to protect when they approved Proposition 215. Those are the people that our legislature sought to protect when they adopted the Medical Marijuana Program Act. And those are the people that this administration should be thinking about as we move closer and closer to November. Because if this administration wants the support and the enthusiasm of our people, they're going to have to stop attacking medical cannabis patients. Thank you very much.